Welcome back to an all-new installment of Super Metal Brothers here on the old podcast. I am Super Metal Brother Matt.
And I'm Super Metal Brother Dan.
We're here to talk to you about all things metal. We're going to be doing some headline stories. We're going to talk about an actual featured presentation today about the new, I guess you would call it the Legion of Metal Music Festival Doom, Danny?
Yeah, I don't know about the Doom part, but definitely about the new way of doing I guess bands that make money and bands to go out there and perform in concerts.
That's right. And finally, also, we're going to be reviewing the latest offering from Babymetal called METAL RESISTENCE. But first, let's talk headlines. Danny, what a week it's been for our metal news.
Actually, it's been a lot. We've actually had to cut back for once. So we so be impressed and be filled with all this knowledge at once. I hope you're sitting down for this segment because there's a lot to get through.
Well, luckily, we are sitting down. So let's go take it off. Corey Taylor. Now, if you don't know who Corey Taylor is, lead singer for the band Slipknot. You get the overalls, you got the mask, you got Slipknot. Now, the poor bloke has to go through spinal surgery, so postponing the first couple of weeks on the show they're doing with Marlon Manson, Danny. This isn't the first time we've heard of metal bands or metal individuals getting injured.
No, it's actually, I think it's coming quite a bit now. I mean, of course, you had the guy from Megadeth, he had his wrist injury. I forget his idea.
That's right.
And then the big one, I guess, is Corpse Grinder had the whole neck problem as well. So Corpse Grinder is the guy from Cannibal Corpse. So all these injuries at the moment, I guess, there must be a way to help prevent these injuries, man. What do you recommend?
Well, far be it from us to not give our wisdom of knowledge to these metalheads. You know, we want to be a podcast that has solutions rather than problems. So metal yoga. Daniel, have you heard of this before? It's heavy metal yoga.
Yeah, I thought that's what we do anyway when we go moshing around in our bedrooms, and I keep slipping on the floor and doing my knee in.
No,
that's another story.
Apparently, what you need to do, and this is founder Kim Massey, they've called it Black Yoga Meditation Ensemble in the States, and literally, if you've seen yoga before, you know, it's guys doing very exotic sexual poses on top of mats that have probably been used by at least 30 other people before you, but the more important thing is this is done with neon lights, black metal music, and a lot of cool people.
Yeah, I don't know how you really can control your breathing. I get pretty excited when I listen to metal, but I think, to be fair, they've actually gone the whole way with it, and they've actually renamed certain famous poses in yoga to reflect the music they're playing.
Yeah, well, it was funny because the founder, I was actually reading an article on her, and she was saying how she loved doing yoga, but she just couldn't stand the music to it, and bless her heart, I probably couldn't either, but this black yoga sounds right down my alley, Danny.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a try if it comes here in Australia. I mean, there's no point. You can just do it yourself, put your favourite music on and just lean over to grab a pack of chips. I guess that counts as yoga.
Oh, I do yoga all the time on Friday night with... I'm so glad they brought back those barbecue shapes because I'm telling you right now, my Friday nights have never been the same.
Oh, yeah, even trying to open up packets of iced coffees and stuff, that is really tricky. That's a yoga exercise in itself.
We're talking from being happy to talking about yoga and all those cool things. And hopefully, Corey Taylor, you get better. Napalm Records have actually added another big band to their ranks with Altered Bridge. Danny, do you know much about Altered Bridge?
Well, I'm surprised I haven't because, you know, as you all know, I'm a massive Ronnie James Dio fan. So when I heard that Napalm Records were very excited about signing up to Bridge, they said, look, Altered Bridge is like a leading band, great songs, great vocals, great riffs. In fact, their singer is pretty much the reincarnation of Ronnie James Dio.
That's right. When they came out, and I'm quoting this exact from the article, layered with bone-chilling vocals that rival powerhouses such as Lane Stanley and Ronnie James Dio. Danny, I don't think Bill Clinton lied big enough about his infidelities to the American population. I mean, this is like a top 3. Yeah, not buying it.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel sorry for that poor family that ran through this red light to actually go home to listen to these guys on YouTube, and just really for nothing. This guy does not sound like Ronnie James Dio.
He doesn't. You could have said Eddie Vedder, or you could have said some other guy from the States or New Jersey, but Ronnie James Dio, that's almost disrespectful. It's like spitting on his grave.
It's just terrible. I mean, there's lying and there's lying. I mean, you can lie, but then this is stupid.
I don't know. Maybe Napalm Records haven't actually heard Ronnie James Dio, to be fair to him, you know. And even then, it's just burying himself further in a grave. But congratulations to Altered Bridge, to another success story with Alyssa White-Gluz. Now, Danny, Do you know who Alyssa Whiteglues is? Gluz.
Nah, I think that's correct. I'd like to buy a vow.
Well, unfortunately, here at the Super Metal Brothers, we do super metal jokes, but also super bad pronunciations.
Yeah, I reckon. Lucky we haven't got any like Eastern European names yet, so we'll stick away from that.
The lead singer from Arch Enemy, the Agonist, as some people know her, is playing a serial killer in a new season of American Murder Song, not American Horror Story. Apparently it's similar, but this has more singing in it.
Yeah, I think from what I could gather, it's still quite new, quite fresh. They're still just piecing together or dripping out a bit of information at a time. It's just pretty much like a musical where I guess they're going to get famous musicians to sing or play certain people and just record it. So it could be an interesting way of writing now.
Oh, she'll be loving it. I mean, she took a plunge with the Agonists. You know, they were doing quite okay for themselves in the probably cult metal scene, I'd imagine. Arch Enemy obviously very massive, and now she's dipping her toes in acting, and she is the first female serial killer on this series. So, all congratulations to her. Some big news coming out of the metal camps these days. Looks like heavy metal is getting into the mainstream.
Yeah, it's good to see. More power to them.
Well, it's funny that because this next story pretty much ties into it. There's a major fashion magazine called Bazaar. Danny, this is actually just a normal fashion, but it's a high-end magazine, and they're calling heavy metal shirts "Look at the Summer."
Well, I can't see where they come from because we all know that black is always fashionable, and the metalhead's number one fashion icon is the black shirt. So yeah, we're continuously leading the fashion, I don't know, bourgeoisie or fashionistas out there. So it's about time they just really cut through that. And so, yes, metal shirts are the fashion.
But that's the thing I got about with metal fashion. I mean, me personally, I can't afford luxuries like clothes or food. So I normally just grab a metal band shirt, a pair of jeans which came from the Salvos, and eat my ramen noodles. And that edge now apparently is forward thinking. And to quote their magazine, Band T is a remix with an edgy style. Did you ever thought with this forward thinking, Danny?
Nah. I don't think most metalheads think forwardly. That's why we just keep going. That's why we keep headbanging. It's always back and forth. We never actually progress anywhere.
Well, the irony is that for me, I would spend more than $3.50 for an outfit. Yeah. But now there's these major retailers who are charging astronomical prices for band T-shirts and leather jackets with that have been sewn on patches. It's almost like gone full circle on us.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, we were always looked down upon for what we wear. Now, certain areas in, I guess, Europe, wherever Bazaar is popular, just go around down the street. You'll be beginning to order high totty places in Paris and in France and down Milan. People be falling at your feet asking you for advice. So, yeah, it's a good time.
Danny!
Yeah, man.
Great news!
Really? What?
Metallica have a new release this summer.
So, anyway, we were discussing about the Guns N' Roses. Yeah, I'm always happy about Guns N' Roses. What's happening with them, Axl Rose?
Yeah, well, Axl Rose now, we might have been wrong. Last week, we were putting over Axl Rose because he wasn't really that bad. You know, we heard him play live with Guns N' Roses, my apologies, with AC/DC and doing an okay job, but we might be wrong on this, Danny.
Well, haters are going to hate.
Well, you know, here we go. If you don't know, the lead singer from Disturbed has come out and saying that Axl Rose is doing a great job. Now, far from us to say it, but we might actually be wrong. Maybe he is a bad singer.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I don't know. The Surf From at the moment has made his most success recently at doing cover songs, and Axl Rose is pretty much being a cover singer at the moment. So maybe there is a bit of a... Maybe the guy's just trying to get his back and maybe Disturbed just trying to say, it's cool if most of our best-known songs are cover songs. So.
Yeah, The Sound of Silence. If you haven't heard it, they've got a song called The Sound of Silence, but Nevermore did it before them and did a far better job. They're amazing. But, you know, Axl Rose just keeps putting himself in the media. We don't sign any more autographs, and he wants all fat memes of him removed from the internet. My favorites being, oh, sweet pile of pies, and welcome to the kitchen, baby. You're going to make pies. Have you had any of those, Danny?
No, I'm not, man. I'm not that cool, man.
Yeah, well, unfortunately for Axl Rose, he just keeps putting himself in the media for all the wrong reasons. But all the best, because we've actually heard that our lead singer Brian Johnson might be coming back before we know it.
Yeah, apparently Brian Johnson has been hearing the hearing doctor speak, and apparently there's good news with there might be a device which can help him get back onto the stage.
Yeah,
which actually timing is so coincidental that at the same time he says his hearing's becoming better, he can go back on stage. Is the same time Guns N' Roses promising a world tour. So it wouldn't be really amazing that Axl Rose sings for AC/DC and you get Brian Johnson to sing for Guns N' Roses? I mean, that would be the massive switch.
That would make my head explode. But onto further news. Meshuggah, the juggernauts of groove / incredibly crushing metal, you could call it. They've actually got a 25 years of musical defiance box set to showcase what they have done over the upcoming half of 50 years.
Yeah, a quarter of a century. I guess it is a milestone for a band which is quite different from, I guess you could say, mainstream, or for most metal at the time. They've come out and be that successful and still keep going strong and keep redefining themselves and making new sounds. It's very impressive, and they deserve their success.
Meshuggah are one of the most influential metal bands of our current generation. They have inspired a whole entire new genre of metal as well as showing how to make production really work for them. They've just basically been doing a very similar thing over the last couple of albums, but they just increase the production levels to make it seem even more crushing and even more of an absorbing experience for the listener.
Yeah, no, that's true, man. So all the power to them, and hopefully there's another 25 years to come. So speaking, I guess, about longevity.
Can you believe this? I guess you could call these guys the legendary, the always reveled and nothing ever special, Deep Purple.
Yeah, I'm standing up for this. I'm standing up right now. Go,
Danny,
mate. Hand on chest.
This isn't just the band who wrote Smoke on the Water. We're talking Black Knight. We're talking the Fireball album. Danny, what else can they be attributed to?
Just songs like Perfect Strangers, Child in Time, pretty much anything from Machine Head. The album is fantastic.
I guess for all you younger guys, you might know who Deep Purple is, and that's fine. You know, you just completely missed out on the inspiration for all the bands we love today. They're releasing their 20th album. That is phenomenal. Unfortunately for these guys, they've probably played to the same crowd they played to 20 years ago. It looks like they've fallen out with the general public.
Yeah, it's true. I've gone to at least 3 or 4 Deep Purple concerts in my time, and it's getting smaller because the crowd base is I don't say dying out, let's say retiring from their music experiences. And I think Deep Purple themselves, they mentioned that they're finding it hard to connect with the younger crowd, and that's just how it is. They're just doing pretty soft type rock, and I guess people don't really want to hear that these days.
Yeah. But to finish off on a positive note, and we'll leave this one as our last news story for today, Knee of Lazarus. Oh, gosh. I'm
Lucius?
Yeah, Knee Alphabet. Neo Alphabet are headlining. They're actually, if you don't know who Knee of Alphabet are, they're actually a Sydney band, I imagine. Melbourne. Sorry, they're a Melbourne band. And for basically a band that has a violinist and growl vocals, they're actually doing their first headline tour of the USA. Now, they've done support bands, but this is like no mean feat to actually do a headline tour of the States.
It's great to see Australian bands making their way out there, and there's a lot of talent down here. So, I mean, this guy here, he's the lead songwriter for this bloke is a freak. I think he was in the Melbourne Conservatorium. He writes all the orchestral arrangements. Yeah, so he's definitely got the ability, and even be credit to one of the other members of the band, quit their job as a train driver, something makes $150,000 a year, gave it up so he can continue his passion for metal. So
yeah, keep it metal.
Much props, mate. Much props.
Keep it real, guys. We are supporting you. Super Metal Brother Matt here is definitely on the bandwagon, so get on that, everybody.
Or
if you
on
haven't
the
heard
train
them.
carriage. Oh, clever.
Next segment. So, a lot of you guys might be wondering to yourself, we have seen the metal in the public eye, especially with the festivals, now completely come to a crashing halt, with our only salvation being the Soundwave festivals that were once a year in March. Always be a smoking hot day, but always providing lots and lots of opportunities for metal bands who are not only just making themselves, but those massive bands that we're never, ever going to have a chance of seeing before. Unfortunately for us, Danny, Soundwave is gone. Who's there to pick up the slack?
Well, unfortunately, not really much at the moment. I mean, we just haven't seen much or heard much of late. I guess the problem as well with Soundwave going is that Madden there did a bit of damage to the trust of international acts and international promoters. So
yeah, it's pretty much like what happened on The Simpsons. It's like when Bart goes to the bank and it's like, maybe Brez got your money. Insolvent, we got money for the next 3 customers. And then the guy's like, I don't have your money. It's at Bill's house and it's Fred's house. Well, he did the exact same thing. He's like, I don't have your money. Benutix has your money.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Then he has your money. And like, hey, what are you doing with my money, Benutix? So it just seems like now, like what Dan was saying, the reputation is tarnished, and it's resulted as a crowdfunding. The next evolution now to hopefully reinstall the festivals back in Australia is Legion. Danny, what's Legion?
Legion, I guess is put it simply, is it is a crowdfunding campaign. They try to start it pretty much as soon as Soundwave crashed and burned last year, and that was always going to be problematic to squeeze in something completely new and trying to just, I guess, fit it as soon as they can to like the start of this year, and people being burned, still trying to get their money back for their last tickets. It was a bit too soon last year, but look, at least they've committed to now raising money, set a date, set a target, which I believe they've achieved. So it's just a bunch of Australian guys. I don't know who they are. Sorry, they've just decided to host this event, get the people to raise money for it, because the people are the ones who end up going there and want to go see the bands play. So it's actually people-funded music festival.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because what they're doing, obviously the East Coast now have so far 16 bands that look to be playing at hopefully around January, with hopefully more bands being announced very soon enough. But for Adelaide and Perth, only 2 bands with possibly one other located slot for a interstate band, you could say, or Australian band. So is this a possibility? Do you see this crashing and burning, Danny? Or is this the next phase of you getting your lovely mug out there singing covers of Rainbow songs?
Oh, that would never happen. The only time you've seen me sing...
Well, Legion's never going to happen.
Oh, yeah, me singing Rainbow, man. I would do it everywhere. Just look at my bathroom.
Oh, yeah,
would
absolutely.
You please? I need some affection. But the problem with it, look, the Legion, I hope it succeeds. I hope it does well. Only problem I can see at the moment is that when you have so many people who put their money into a festival, you have so many people who want to hear their own bands or their own styles in that festival. So it's really hard to keep everybody entertained and everybody amused and grant everybody their wishes. That it could be tricky trying to pick the 16 bands that they're saying is going to happen in the Eastern States and only 2 in Adelaide and Perth, because you might just lose that crowdfunding support come next year. Because once, I'm the why would I give money? Look, there are no people out there and they want to give money because they want to see it succeed, but unfortunately, finding ability in this day and age is quite hard to come by. So I just think that was probably one of the things I can see at the moment, which is a problem.
It's tricky because we've seen they've asked for $327,000 and they got that amount just over. So what we're praying for is that this is enough to get people excited, buying tickets, and hopefully we can see some big names come down rather than maybe we might just see a local representation, as a Australian best of kind of thing. But hopefully that won't scare people off, because I know Australia loves to see the big bands. Hey, Danny?
Oh, absolutely. We had Maiden at one of these Soundwaves, and there was monster amount of people here in Adelaide. Metallica came, sold out Soundwave like that. It's unfortunately, you need the big bands to get the people along. Otherwise, sometimes you don't really get that support, because you have a lot of people who are borderline metalheads, we'll call them. The guys who wear Maiden Metallica shirts only, and
they love the Master of Puppets album, the Black Album, but don't get them talking about anything from Justice, because they'll be like, yeah, what?
Yeah, there was metal before 1994 or whatever it was. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
So we want to know what you got to have to think about this, guys. Is Legion Metal Music Festival here to stay, or will this be another flash in the pan and we have to resort in going back to the Rundle Mall and just busking our way in front of our grandma and a couple of frustrated customers?
Yeah, I think there are a couple other ways metal bands can make music, make money, not was it Spotify?
Oh, not Spotify,
no. Not Spotify, unless you, stream 1 million of your songs, the only way you'll see $1, so ignore Spotify for you band people out there. But, there's a couple ways you can make money as a metal band.
We don't know what it is yet.
Well, the one I could think of which could work is, when you see the news and you see car crashes, I think you could do soundtracks to car crashes.
That's right.
That would be pretty exciting.
You can make anything. You can make trailers to movies. You can make trailers to weather commercials. You can make trailers to weather. Just kind of stand outside in a recycler and just be like, get the pick on.
Yeah, man. Even when you're lining up to buy a coffee and the guy in front of you is ordering like a 20-word long coffee, you just have some metal in the background, putting you in that nice, happy place before you grab his head and ram it into the counter.
Yeah, just go with all those feelings. So there you go, guys. Legion Metal Music Festival, here to stay, or is it going to go just as quickly as it came? On to our review of Babymetal's Metal Resistance, our feature presentation about a review of one of your favorite bands out there. Danny, let's talk Babymetal.
Well, for those who don't know what Babymetal is that when a mummy metal and a daddy metal get together, they get ready to you get a Babymetal. And the metal pelican comes and you,
But is this the sort of kid that you want to take to soccer practice, or the kid you want to leave outside the street to fetch his own ice cream? What is this Babymetal to you, Danny?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, let's break it down. Yeah, because I know
Babymetal was so many things, especially in this album. You hear, they're their own entity.
Yeah,
you can't describe it apart from, but we'll try.
We're going to do it with our top 5 tier ways of reviewing it. This has been peer research. People over the board have looked at it and said, what are you doing in my house? But we're here to review the CD anyway. So we got riffs, vocals, diversity, groove, and production. These are the 5 things that we review all of our awesome CDs that we get on. So let's talk riffs, Danny, on this album. Babymetal's Metal Resistance. What were the riffs like?
Oh, look, again, I won't say diversity, yeah, but...
Oh, you just said it! Now I need to get the hose again!
Man,
oh, my God!
We should call... everything should be called diversity. That should be just 5 groups, diversity.
Oh, my God, Danny.
Anyway, riffs, yes. This album does have their money riffs in there. Ones where you can literally crank up the CD, crank up the music, or your MIDI file, or your USB stick, whatever you kids listen to these days, and just literally like headbang to it. So you do have really good riffs in pretty much a lot of their songs.
Yeah, there's a lot of riffs, and there's a good reason for that, but we're going to touch on that towards the end, why there are so many different styles of variations to the riffs. But what you do get is you get your Dragon Force inspired riffs. You get your Dream Theater inspired metal riffs with progressive sections and keyboard / guitar interlude solos that would make me cry for not practicing enough, even though I've been doing it for 15 years and apparently that's not enough hours in a day to do that. You know, just stuff like that. To the ballad of all things with one of my favorites songs called No Rainbow. So yeah, riffs are not a problem on this album, Danny.
Yeah, you have in the breakdowns in there as well, which can help out and give a bit of a nice sound when they transfer from their soft, sweetly sung choruses. And they come back in and they just go full hammer and tongs with it.
That's right. Like you like riffs from bands like melodic death metal bands like Monomask and Crossfaith. Yeah, this album's got it. Yeah, you like riffs from progressive metal. Again, this album's got it. Literally, if you like anything that's funny enough in the mainstream of music right now, this album has it.
It does. It literally is picked apart the best parts of songs and just stuck them in and created their own songs around it.
So we have to give riffs a tick for sure for now.
Yeah.
But we're going to move to the next category, and this is the most polarizing thing about Babymetal that fans are going to love or hate. Now, we're not going to say that you're a racist or a bigot for not liking these vocals. Hell, to this very day, what ordained for some people, is this a no-fly zone? I cannot stand James LaBrie.
Or King Diamond. That's
Diamond
not a falsetto.
Polarized.
That's not a falsetto.
Let's talk about the vocals of Babymetal. Danny, what do the vocals do for you?
Well, unfortunately, they do not help me in my quest for complete satisfaction in music. They start off well, and sometimes the singing does help a song, like you're saying with the
like Amore, for example. They move through this whole entire passage about the first third of the song, and they're moving through these key changes effortlessly, and the higher registers on songs like Rose of Resistance is...
Yeah, that's true. And even like that whole Metataro song, which is kind of like the old grab your beer mug and swing along type of...
Oh, that's right.
Blind Guardian
It's like if a Viking came into your house and like took a beer with you, but then like beat up your missus, but you'd be happy because, free beer, right? But it really is that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just the way, and even the way it's sung, it just sounds too karaoke. Like the girls, they hit their notes, and that's great, but that's all they do with a note. Is just hit it. They don't put any vibrato in it or any like emotion into it. They don't make their own little endings to all the notes, or they don't tie in stuff. It just seems like it's just too produced and too karaoke'd.
Yeah. And you start to see why, again, when we're going to touch on this at the end of it, to give you a whole entire context and sense of it. So the language barrier isn't a problem. It's the style and delivery, which for some people might just scare them away, especially the traditional metalheads. And because they do songs like, for example, Sis Anger, which is a straightforward metal song, when you hear it, you just go like, oh, that could really do with some meaty growls or some shrieks singing from the cold depths of Norway or your mum's basement.
Yeah. All right, settle down. I think the interesting, actually, I mean, one of the, let's say, controversial parts of the vocals is that sometimes a vocal can help a song out or add to it. I think the problem, because the girls are softly spoken, their tone's a sweet tone. In fact, it kind of inhibits the writing of these songs. They can't go like with more power, more ferocity when it comes to the chorus. Or they have to the verse and the bridges, so they're the heavy parts. The choruses have to break down, because otherwise it won't match.
Now they got some memorable moments. Don't get me
they
wrong.
do.
They've got this, like the chorus from Karate is amazing, right? The performance they give on No Rain, No Rainbow is incredibly beautiful. But then what I'm talking about is songs that, and you can agree with me on this, Danny. Sis Anger. This is not a song for Babymetal.
Oh, no, it's terrible. Oh, and it's that vocal slide they do. It really is.
There's
terrible.
no way you can make that attitude from that kind of presentation, and it really fails to draw me across. So you need to check that song out to really know what we're talking about, but there's just no way a riff like that it does any justice. Apart from that, though, it really is like listening to an anime from your favorite Megazords, really, fighting it out with these really cool schoolgirls singing over some death metal things.
Yeah, it's like Sailor Moon, like After Hours.
Yeah, if you wanted to listen to the perfect soundtrack to Sailor Moon in your PJs, Babymetal.
Yeah. No, yeah, that sounds fine.
So with riffs and vocals riffs being a tick and vocals obviously being not a resounding, unfortunately, no. Diversity. Danny's favourite word to use on the Super Metal podcast. What does this album do for you, Danny?
There is a lot of it.
Oh.
I mean, diversity, not just in their name, but who they are themselves. I mean, the Babymetal band is such a unique creation of musicians with 3 lead female singers and just dudes wearing interesting clothing in the background.
Yes. This album's got everything. It's got literally anything from drum and bass to heavy riffs to punk songs to pop choruses. Danny, is there a market that, funny enough, this doesn't attract to, but then also doesn't really grab onto? What is this? Why is this diversity here for?
Oh, it's got everything. It's got like even a ballad there as well, like pretty much like a power ballad. It's got a bit of like jazz sounds, or the I can't remember the call. Kind of like cabaret feel to one of their songs. I think that Yava song has that feel to it. So it's actually quite amazing. Every song is there to hit a different market, and even the last song, the one, is all sung in English, and it's supposed to be that like big, powerful ending song with like the anthem that you all sing up and like, yeah, I'm inspired to be a better person, but I won't be, because the song finishes at 30 minutes and 5 minutes and.
So the diversity for me comes under like the album is a fun listen. So everything, the best thing I can say is it is a fun listen. The tracks are very diverse. The riffs are very diverse. But again, I'm going to tease you with that. At the end of this review, we're going to tell you why it is. So let's move on. Diversity gets a tick, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can hear probably 5 different bands in there. If you have a different band but you don't want to hear their songs again, you can just hear this album and you probably hear your band playing in it.
All right, well, now we're going to talk about the groove aspect. Does this album make you feel something? As a metalhead that I'm, Super Metal Brother Matt, and I've seen Super Metal Brother Dan, we hear a good song, something moves. It might be our neck or our face or our, little man downstairs. It could be any one of those things.
Yeah.
Oh, John's great, man.
Yeah, no, he moves too much, that guy.
But he touches my penis too much, so it's really annoying.
Oh, yes. Well, he's little. What do you expect? That's all he can reach up to.
Damn, John. So, Danny, the album, does it groove for you?
Yes. There's parts in there where they got nice chunky guitar riffs and nice drum sounds, and they break it up with nice industrial sounds as well, so they keep the flow of the songs going. And even when they do break it in with the singing, or they a bit more mellow with their music, it still has a nice feel to their songs. I do like the way the songs are put together.
Yeah, I would get the thing that the songs, even when they're metal, don't really pump me up, though. I don't really get that need to drive myself, to ask for that promotion at work, or to get courage to ask little Tiffany out to a coffee.
Wait, don't say the little part.
You mean, sorry, Tiffany.
Big old Tiffany.
She's older now, I'm sorry. But that's the thing you need to understand for me, is that as a metalhead, I get that when this song's on, it is on, but it's most strongest when it has something memorable to offer, like a great chorus or a catchy riff or a amazingly beautiful piano solo.
Yeah.
But the groove aspect, apart from having a lot of fun with the album, I didn't necessarily feel compelled to feel excited by it either.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. You're right. There are parts of each song where they get you in there, like, yeah, this is the part I want to hear. And the problem as well is those parts of the songs that don't really hold for long. Like the best example is Yava, where they've got like a really heavy breakdown, a really groovy part right in the middle of it. It goes for like 10 seconds, 8 bars, whatever it is, and that's it. And then a little bit at the end, but you're like, nah, there's more to that. It's just
Yeah, killer tracks like Karate, for example, which have that really cool Dream Theater-ish kind of bendy verse with some of those really cool tremolo, fast-picking kind of stuff. But the chorus is like amazingly catchy. Everything's put in the right place. It's so rhythmical and beautiful, and there's all these trade-offs. Back to a heavy riff, back to singing, back to, all that formulaic stuff, which works incredibly well in pop music. But, yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one being I guess I'm more of a traditional metalhead myself, but that's hard. It's a hard one to judge, that groove one, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a track-by-track part, and I guess because all their tracks are completely different, that's why. So it depends what you really like and what really makes you feel and what really makes you groove is what part of the album you're really going to like.
So to finish up the 5-tier system, we have production. I guess now, Danny, we can inform the listener today who has been so patiently waiting for the last 5 minutes to see why we are always stalling about why this album has that diversity or has that different feel. And it comes down to who wrote it.
Yeah. Question is who wrote it.
And the greater question is how many people wrote this album, Danny?
Yeah, it's actually it's funny because when you hear the album, you hear the songs are so not they're so different, but there's like so unique. There's probably about 4 or 5 different unique sounds to the album. So you have like a lot of Dragon Force inspired things. There's like 2 songs which literally the first song, Road to Resistance, sounds. I think I've actually learned a bit of Japanese. I translated the lyrics. And the lyrics actually go through the fire and the flames will carry on.
It is a karaoke song.
It's amazing. It literally like,
exactly. Like songs like The One and Towers of Destiny sound like Dream Theater, and like songs like Sis Anger sound like a Keith Merrow song. For those who don't know who that is, it's like one of the guys who helped invent Gen. Don't listen to Periphery. They were helped, but Keith Merrow is like the Shizzle and Izzle with Mushroom Sauce Izzle.
Yeah.
So who wrote this album, Danny? There are too many names to count. Which in question as a metalhead raises flags, because this Babymetal album isn't exactly one written by a band. This is an album written by a company.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we like to have that on pop music because, like, someone like Beyonce would have like 10 different writers for just one song only, and we're like, man, you can't even write your own songs. How can you feel your own songs? It's just where's your connection to your music?
For example, this one would have one person that would write lyrics, or another person that might do the music, another person might do the arranging, another person might do a solo, another person might do the mixing and the mastering, and all of a sudden you see all these cooks come in, and the diversity, the vocal presentation and the riffs, this is all done by different guys. Does it make for a cohesive album overall, Danny, or is this just a jarring experience for you with the production?
Again, look, the songs are put together well in their place. I mean, some of them are very generic, like there was that ballad, No Rain, No Rainbow. It's done well, it's well written, but it is a generic power ballad. And I mean, they do mix it up with the production, so they put the different sounds of like industrial sounds in there and try to break it up with the different guitar sounds instead of drum sounds. But so they try to use all the tools when they make the album. But it's just, I mean, so there are good parts about the production value, but at the same time, because there's so many different cooks, there really isn't a flow to the album. It sounds like it builds up to like track 8 or so, then track 7. 7's completely different. That's pretty much just a drum and bass song. Yeah. Track 8 comes with just a nice ballad. Then after that, it just turns into like a Wake album from Dream Theater.
To put what Daniel was saying, Super Metal brother Dan is saying into perspective, Metal Resistance is almost more a compilation album than it is a sequel to some of their earlier work, almost, you could argue. Yeah,
that's true. And it's funny because the people who are writing for this are all these like hidden pretty much ghost writers. They actually are from their own bands, but because their own bands are so niche, people don't really want to hear their stuff. So these bands, these musos are writing stuff for Babymetal so they can get their music out there and heard. So
it's almost a trade-off, isn't it? Like, you want to see these bands do well because you can hear some of these songs and the amount of work and love and dedication poured into it. But to hear the final product, you could almost imagine that it's a little soulless. It felt, when I listened to some of these songs, it felt a little empty, and it's because the original artist maybe didn't have a part in it, or like you said, Danny, it is just thrown together.
Yeah, I mean, again, good and bad things like everything. Good thing because you get that diversity, you get the nice sounds, you get all the different influences into the album, but at the same time, it's hard to be a Babymetal fan because you don't know what the next album is going to give you, because you don't know if the same writers are going to be there, or with different people. So what are the songs going to be like?
Yeah, for example, like you can listen to certain songs and some of them are great, but then, for example, you'll hear songs like I think it's Awadama Fever or something, and the mixing is so rough that the guitars are non-existent, but when the drum and bass come in, it over kills everything. So there's this problem where the album itself each track sounds a little different, but it doesn't sound like it's cohesive. It sounds like literally these are different songs of different albums sometimes. For good or worse, I think as a metal fan, you'll get what you get out of it, but it is... So when I started getting into it a little bit more, it did put a lot of things in perspective and probably put a bit of a blemish on it for me.
Yeah, very much. I mean, it's good to have a band like this because it's just a unique sound and no one else is doing it. No one else will probably ever do it. So have a band like this around. It's great, and it's also bridging the gap between pop culture,
that's right,
Asian music and Asian metal bands with the Western side. So, yeah, I mean, what they're doing is good. It's just, again, how they're going to be in the next couple of albums. It's hard to see what they can do.
Yeah, Babymetal, for all intents and purposes, is marketed brilliantly with incredibly smart people behind them who are getting the biggest bands at the moment, or the bands they see potential in, and putting them on the album to write songs for it. So let's hope all the best for those bands. But in the end, Daniel, can you recommend this album? What would you say in final thoughts to Babymetal?
Look, Babymetal, you have to listen to it and to say if you like it or not. Because, again, it's hard to say. If you can get over the vocals, then that's great. Because there are some great parts. The songs have some great parts to them. Again, like we suggested, because there's so many different influences in there, you probably won't like the whole album. You probably like certain tracks of the album. So look, I think I'll definitely give it a listen to it because it's just so different, and then go from there. I can understand why you probably won't like it, but definitely give it a listen to it.
Yeah, well, at least you get to enjoy them on the final track, singing in English, and for that you get to hear World sung with like 3 R's and a V. It's very cute and it's very charming to hear. So there are some popular moments on this album. I would recommend it for a kick. Maybe you're out on YouTube and check it out to see if you like it. If you're a progressive metal fan, however, I would say give it a listen. But for everyone else, I would probably just maybe check out Rondo of Nightmare, and that's their best song for a metalhead to get into. And if that doesn't do it for you, I don't think much on this album will do it for you.
Yep, fair enough. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Yeah, it depends what you like. Depends what you like. Give a listen to it.
Well, there you go. So that's the Super Metal Brothers reviewing Babymetal's Metal Resistance album. Again, it was a lot of fun doing this one. But before we conclude this show, we've actually got some big news for the listeners, haven't we, Danny?
This is exciting news. We are actually going to be in Europe.
That's right. Super Metal Brothers are invading Europe. We are checking out a festival in Belgium, as well as the juggernaut, the pioneering, the amazing Rainbow. If you haven't heard of Rainbow, Danny, who is Rainbow?
Rainbow is the reason there is progressive rock / metal.
Yep.
And is pretty much part of power metal as well. Is you could kind of come back to Rainbow, more because Dio's singing, and even when they went to the 80s, when they went more pop and stuff, they're singing there.
If you wanted to hear what Ronnie James Dio actually sounded like, then listen to Ronnie James Dio, because no one can emulate Ronnie James Dio. Even the singer we're going to go check out can do a decent job, but there's no imitation. It's imitating a legend like that.
Oh, it'd be great. We'll get to see him as well in Birmingham. So it's pretty much the birthplace of that whole rock metal scene in Europe, where you had Motorhead and you had Black Sabbath and Deep Purple and, of course, Rainbow all came from there. So to see it in its birthplace would be quite a moment. And then we also go to Belgium, where we're going to see the Grass Pop.
Yeah, Grass Pop. Guys, we're going to probably give you a detailed description of that. Hopefully in Europe, if we get a chance to do it, we're going to talk to you about the bands we're going to see there. We're going to be there on the Friday, and we're going to check out bands such as our favorite Flesh God Apocalypse, as well as bands like Megadeth as well. Danny, it's going to be amazing.
It's great. I've never seen Megadeth. They always keep eluding Adelaide when they come down. I keep eluding them, one of the two. And even Black Sabbath are there on the end of the night as well. So it is a pretty big festival. 3 day. We only be there for the Friday. We'll try to keep you guys updated on our Twitter page. So keep up on that.
Keep Twitter and on Facebook. Come find us at Super Metal Bro. We couldn't take the bros. It was taken, unfortunately. Damn that person from wherever. But that's okay. Thank you very much for listening tonight, guys. My name is Super Metal Brother Matt.
And I'm Super Metal Brother Dan.
And we will talk to you from Europe. So thanks for listening, guys. And we'll chat to you next week.
Peace out, guys.